Emergency situation. Each site is covered by prevention plan in case of natural events like headquarter, flood, or hurricane, fire or chemical incidents around the site. PCB emergency can occur with equipment in service, in storage, during transport, or at disposal facility. A leak of spill of PCB liquid, the failure of a piece of service equipment, the accidental breach in a container of PCB. 5. PCB emergency can be occur as cold incident can be caused by unintentional mechanical damage to the transformer, cooling, fine, and cause the splitting of PCB. For advice in environment or other situation, training activity. Odd incident can be also caused by short circuit or fire. In the vicinity of the equipment, in case of a hot incident, the temperature in the device exceeds the boiling point of PCB around 300 centigrade. Emergency action plan in case of cold incident. First, alert the criminal team if it exists, competent people, and the site management. In case of doubt, an oil leakage is considered as PCB polluted. Switch off the power supply for the concerned device and check grounding. Ask people with appropriate PPA. Closing storm water. Limit the spread of the sibling oil by sealing the leak and using absorbent material, sand, sawdust, or cement. If you have not appropriate PPA, take it. Prepping in appropriate container. If it's possible, a dry tray can be placed under the leak. Prevent the contamination of water caused by PCB. Drain as well as channel and pipe that leads to open water must be sealed. Pollution should be invisible. The PCB is heavier than water. Fence off and mark the contaminated air. In case of large pollution, use a tent to separate emergency area of the rest of the site. The personal protective equipment is put on and taken off the tent every time when you are entering and leaving to the contaminated zone. To use in the contaminated area, shoe protection. After root cause investigation, different parts of polluted material should be segregated. Water and mixed liquor in drum, oil in drum, polluted soil in container. The tent should be protected against the rains and winds dissemination. In a building, evacuate all the people inside. Alert the administrative authority. Make in place risk communication. During the annual training, use the following list. Implement the following checklist for emergency action plan for cold incident. The list gives you the action plan to apply in the case of cold incident. The number gives you the seconds to follow. Emergency action plan in case of hot incident. Accident should be managed with more caution due high temperature should be developed. Fire and combustion should be create a toxic cloud and an internal external disaster. If it happens locally, even by a short-term only, short circuit, PCB vapor can be released and then can contain high toxic fluoride, PCDF, If the PCB get in contact with oxygen fire, not only fluorine but also dioxin, PCDD, can be formed. PPA respiratory protection are needed. Professional firemen are competent to limit and stop a fire. The local team should give some information about the site and the associated risk, storage and inflammable material, stormwater drain, to help to limit the pollution extension. Emergency action should be developed. First, call the firemen and describe the situation. Second, strangle the chemical plant. Third, switch off the power supplier. 4. Hermetically seal the room and the entire building. Switch off ventilation system. 5. Evacuate people from the whole concerned building and on a large scale in the direction of wind. 6. Fence off the contaminated zone and strictly control access. When the fire stops, use the following checklist. Like a checklist in case of hot accident is the same system like for the cold incident. You have a list of number and you can show that very directly. The road code should be internet failure like an short circuit arc or other fire source. Maintenance works. The approaching site is organized on 30 square meters and with different parts. The parts are organized on industrial part and storage part. The site is organized on three zones. The red zone is organized for the only authorized people. Orange zone is a very limited area, and the green zone is for the people who are agree to be in the site. The site is protected by active carbon. All the elements are extracted on 24 tons of active carbon. To survey the active carbon, we organize some specific analysis. Each week we extract some part and we analyze the result to be sure that we have a 99% of treatment. The active carbon is not the unique system to survey. We survey also with a biolichens. Biolichens are grow on the herb, and we can identify some issue about how the carbon is surveyed, and we also have some data to look at the result of the carbon and the survey, environmental survey. Each survey is based on implement lichen, and we are doing inside and external site, and it's why we have a global view of the pollution. The transformer is handling in a specific area. We have for that some truck who are handling and transport the transformer from the site. And when the transformer arrives, we shall identify it with a sticker before to make the sampling and measure the PCB content. The following phase is to separate the oil with to treat it by declaration. The declaration system is a chemical system. When we had some salt and to separate the chlorine and to reduce the chlorine in the oil, and at the end we can refurbish the oil by this system from around 5,000 ppm to 10 ppm. It's very depends the time, but the duration is around 8 hours for complete processes. For the contamination of PCB, we need to have some PPA to protect the worker, and all the PPA are totally cover the worker totally cover with a helmet and safety shoes and PPA. This system is to treat with a vacuum. You charge the vacuum, and second we create a empty phase, and we heating to 200 degree, and after that we have we extract all the air, and we shut down the temperature. At the end, after around 8 hours or 9 hours, we can put out the products were totally decontaminate. All the process is long, but very effort to obtain some material very clearly identified, like without PCB, and totally depollute. As we saw before, all the system is close to with air conditioner, and the air extract is eliminated by on active carbon. That means full of 19% of the PCB is totally destroyed and eliminated. Well, on the transformer are deployed, we can starting to deassembling all the piece, and for that we separate each material by nature. By example, we have a steel one way, could have copper, could have wood and paper. Wood and paper are going to the destruction because it's impossible to retreat it. We make for each part a survey with our laboratory. It's why we can justify all the result to have on the 6,000 ton. On this slide we can show the global result of decontamination by nature of material. We can show that a metal plate or steel are less 4 or 6 ppm. At the beginning they are higher than 1000 ppm, and all the parts are depolluted. Of course we are keeping just some parts who are without interest economically to decontaminate, because it's too hard to have some decontamination. And this result can show that we have a global result than 19% of decontamination. The video are performed by Jean Hetzel for the English version, Lean Manager, Omer Halak, Turkish translation and Turkish version, with the support of Lassen El Bouai.